Ari, we are headed to College Station for Texas and Texas A&M. We've talked about Quinn Ewers in this game, but let's talk about the quarterback on the other side, Marcel Reed, who became the Texas A&M QB1 in the LSU game, essentially. He led them back against LSU. He's been their starter ever since. Let's look at his Prize Picks number for this game. If you're not playing Prize Picks already, best daily fantasy game in America, download the app, use the code STAPLES, play $5, get $50 instantly. So the passing yards number for Marcel Reed, 180.5. Ari, do you know that since becoming the starter in the 3 full games that he's played, his lowest passing output is 206?
Yeah, that seemed a little low to me. The rushing also seemed a little low. What's the rushing situation?
34.5 is the number here. If you include the LSU game where he didn't come in until right before halftime, the lowest rushing total is 41. The South Carolina game is the only one where he has a bad per carry average because he was also taking a bunch of sacks. The other ones, he's been pretty good. Now, the Auburn game, he took some sacks too, but he wound up with 66 net rushing yards, which means he was able to make some big plays on the ground. The total number got negated a little bit by sacks, but if he plays his average game here, he's going more than on both of these. Now, here's the part to consider. Lost in all the discussion of Texas and who they've played is that their defense has been awesome all year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Their inconsistencies have been on offense.
I feel like if A&M is going to win this game, their defensive line has to show up in a very big way. Like, to me, I think that is the entire key to this. And I don't know that Marcel Reed has to turn into Cam Newton out there, but the numbers here are fairly tame. So if you believe that Texas A&M is going to be in this game, you probably also believe that he'll break a run or hit a few passes in the passing game to keep them in it. I am trending towards Texas A&M being able to hang in here for 4 quarters. So I'm trending to more than on both of those numbers for Marcel Reed.
Yeah, the 34.5 is really interesting to me because the way he runs, I think he could actually break off a couple runs and take some sacks and still wind up more than that. Because if you look at, that's exactly what happened in the South Carolina and Auburn games. South Carolina, he finished with 46 rushing yards. Auburn, he finished with 66. He averaged 2.8 yards a carry against South Carolina and 3.1 against Auburn. So what that means is he had some big runs and he took some sacks. I think he's going to take some sacks against this defense, but I think he's going to break off a couple and probably be able to still come out with more than that. The question is, does Texas A&M have more points at the end? And I think a lot of that, like you said, will depend on the Texas A&M defense. But let's throw one more thing out there because we talked about this with Quinn Ewers, who has an ankle issue that he's dealing with. And we did broach the possibility of, if things aren't going well, would Texas go to Arch Manning? If Marcel Reed is struggling against this Texas defense, is it possible we see Connor Wegman in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking about Connor Wegman the entire video of what happens to him after the season too. Like, it's like what I was pondering in my head. But like the reason why I like the rushing total here for Marcel is because it's like, why is he the starter? Because he can do things with his legs that Connor Wegman frankly can't do. So to me, you have to lean on one of the strengths. And I think that Marcel Reed's actually been a pretty good passer too. I'm not saying he can't throw, but he's very explosive when he gets into space. So I think that A&M has to do everything in its power to design situations and hope that he can freelance a few into getting out in the open space, moving the chains and hurting Texas's defense with his legs. It's like, who's the most dangerous runner that Texas has faced this year? I don't even know.
It's
not somebody that jumps out to me. So
Jaquindon Jackson, I believe, was hurt when they played Arkansas or was just coming back off an injury. So they never got somebody, who was and Taylor Green. Taylor Green is the best running quarterback that they've faced, but he was not.
Yeah. He wasn't
Alex Forgy, but they only saw him for a few plays against Michigan.
Yeah,
because David Warren started that game.
This might be the most gifted, explosive runner that they've faced at the quarterback position all year. So it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I think that I'm fairly certain that he's going to be in a position to cross those numbers.
We will find out in College Station on Saturday.